There we go.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast. This is episode, please hold, I
200.
closed that window. 236, thank you. I am your host, Peter Nikolaidis, and I didn't really get enough sleep last night. But joining me, as always, is my co-host, Adam Bell. Hello, Adam.
Hello. Hey, I also didn't get enough sleep last night, so this could be fun.
Yeah, I was in bed for 10 hours, and according to my Apple Watch, asleep for 9. Oh, sorry, I take that back. According to Apple Health, asleep for 9. But I am rocking the Garmin again still these days. And it rated my sleep quality as poor on a scale of, I think, 1 to 100. It gave me a 55. So not the best. I definitely was up last night, had some things on my mind, but also my shoulder was a little cranky. Just some of the exercises that my personal trainer had me do a few days ago are still kicking in. So yeah, that was a little, kept me up last night. So how about you? What's your excuse?
I went to bed late and got up early, but
Oh, well,
yeah,
that'll do.
I went to bed at like 10 after 10 and got up at 4. But my quality of sleep when I was asleep, I guess, was pretty good. My overall volume of sleep was just not enough.
Now, do you ever, alcohol aside, well, alcohol is not really helpful. Do you ever use any sort of supplements or medication or anything to try to help you sleep better?
No, the only thing that I have done is I've been drinking a yoga chamomile lavender tea before bed. I don't know if there's any true medicinal. I mean, because that's not a pharmaceutical or anything like that. I mean, that's just like a remedy. And I don't know if it helps me sleep any better, but I feel better when I mean, it gives me a nice warm drink before bed with a little bit of sugar because I put honey in it and it tastes pretty. So, but I sleep pretty.
I try not to drink anything like several hours before bedtime. So that's the trick. I know definitely I've seen stuff like that, and I've seen an Ayurvedic recipe that was like almond milk or oat milk, cardamom, cumin, dash of turmeric, and I forget what else. Some, just basically some spices and stuff, and maybe just a tiniest dab of honey or something like that. And I tried that for a little while, and was like, yeah, it was okay. But I've been experimenting with CBD gummies. Well, I shouldn't say experimenting. I've been using CBD gummies for some time now. And I had forgotten. So as more time goes by, there was THC, which everybody knew about. That's the thing that makes you high. And then there's CBD, which is the stuff that some people say allegedly makes you sleepy or can reduce pain. I don't know anything about the pain reduction part, but it definitely, I've used it to make me sleepy. But I've also found that there are other strains. If you talk about like full spectrum, blah blah blah, there's CBG and CBN. So these are all just different chemicals that you get out of the marijuana plant. And I've noticed that when I take ones with CBN, that I have better sleep quality as a result.
Okay.
And so I just put in an order, and a new, first shipment just arrived of a new one that is predominantly CBN as opposed to any of those others. So I'm really looking forward to trying that one tonight and see if that's the knockout combo that I need. That said, I really want to wean myself off of these things, so I don't need them.
Yeah.
But I've just been going through, like, I've been tracking it more carefully now with the Garmin because its sleep reporting seems a little more comprehensive than what I got with just the Apple.
Yeah.
And I can feel it on days when I wake up. It's like, listen to your body. Maybe you shouldn't train today. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe you're right. But I'm like, I still can't figure out, like, what the heck am I doing wrong? Why, why can't I sleep? So kind of a
Well,
bummer.
I am very blessed because sleep has not been a problem for me. I mean, I've always gone my whole life that if I want to go to sleep, I just go to sleep. I don't, it's not a thing.
You are very blessed.
Yeah, because my wife, she doesn't sleep as well as I do either. I mean, she will go like late into the night and not be able to go to sleep, and then she'll finally get to sleep, and then of course then she'll sleep longer as a result. But she's not she still has responsibilities and gets up.
Right.
So you mentioned, I don't necessarily understand the laws on that. You can buy CBD online? You don't
Yes.
have to go to a store, or are you buying it from a local store in Massachusetts to Massachusetts, or is it coming from somewhere else?
The ones that I buy online are coming from other places, from other states. So you can ship those interstate, and that's fine, even though federally you're not supposed to have it. I'm not exactly sure how that works. And when you go to dispensaries, it's either cash or debit card only. You can't use credit cards because of some federal restriction. And frankly, with all of the posturing and mobilizing of law and military, et cetera, I'm really kind of surprised that we haven't seen the current administration weaponizing marijuana possession more. We haven't seen it at all. And that kind of, frankly, is surprising to me. I
And
thought that would be something that they would, like roll out real early against, blue states, so where it's been decriminalized and stuff. So,
well, I don't think it's I think there are more red states that are involved with marijuana than you think there are. That's probably why.
Well, there you go. So
Yeah.
well, I don't know. But that doesn't. That said, I wouldn't put the current administration past just like targeting blue states, right?
Yeah.
We're just going to ignore them, just like he's threatening to do with the military, right? We're going to send them into blue states to fight crime, even though crime in these red states is exponentially higher than in the blue states. But facts have never been the strong point of this president. So there you go.
Well, you had asked if I had ever taken CBD for sleeping, and no, I haven't, but I do. One of my friends at church, he does, and he said he only takes like a half of a gummy, and he said it has helped him sleep all night long, and it's like it's been cool. It's like good. I'm also fortunate. I can drink water before bed, and generally I won't have to get up and go to the bathroom. I don't know what, I mean, that's not a law. I mean, sometimes I don't drink before bed and got to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But sometimes, I'll tell you, the worst that's ever happened was, man, we went out west in Death Valley and we went hiking, and it's really, really dry. And I drank water all day, but I was still dehydrated, and I had to drink like 48 ounces of water before bed to, and I was still dry when I went to bed.
Yep.
I peed all night that night for sure.
Well, this today, I realized that it was like 1 o'clock, almost 2 o'clock, and I had not even finished my first bottle of water.
Oh.
I did have 2 cups of coffee, and I also so I went to the gym today. I took the day off from work, but since I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks, I scheduled an extra, like a catch-up, preload session with my personal trainer today.
Mm-hmm.
And I got back from the gym and, had a pre-made protein, a protein shake that I had pre-made, not a
Mm-hmm.
pre-made protein shake. Had a protein shake, and then, had some, like maybe 12 ounces of water in that. But, it was just like, I realized, oh, I haven't had enough. So I pounded like 30 ounces and then filled up the thing again for another 35 ounces. So if I have to pause during this recording, don't be surprised.
Yeah, you're like, I can't hold it anymore. Oh, good. Well, one of the things that I've done is I've stopped counting my coffee, because hydrate kind of made me I felt like, because everything that I'd done prior, coffee didn't count, and hydrate counted.
Mm,
And then I was like, I'm just going to stop counting that, and it hasn't been a problem at all. I mean,
yeah.
I just only count water.
Yeah. I mean, so when I drink, the amount of water included in like beer or lemonade or excuse me, coffee or tea or whatnot is showing up in my daily intake.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's just part of like in my I use food noms for my tracking of all my all my food, and that includes water. So I suppose I could rule that out. And, if I wanted to, I could also just track just water, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I drink just water, because, excuse me, when I drink it and I log it through that custom shortcut that I made in Apple, it shows up, it does go into food noms and it shows up as water. And then I could just track it, pull out everything in food noms with a name of water only, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to the water content in beer or coffee or something like that too. I could, but I don't worry about that too much because I've been experimenting with the amount of water that I'm supposed to have, and I think I'm getting enough,
Mm-hmm.
in general nowadays. The big thing, and I think we mentioned this on this show, is I've been doing electrolytes, buying the Element brand. Really should see if I can get a referral code on that, because I know they sponsor all sorts of different podcasts.
Yeah,
But
I actually have
I've
one
been
for
pretty happy. Yeah, well, there you go.
now.
But I've been very happy with that, because I was definitely starting to get cramps a few back about maybe like May-ish. Yeah, it was around Memorial Day, I think. And I asked my trusty AI assistant, "Hey, what's going on? I'm a so and so, and I run this much, and I exercise, and I do this and this and this." And it's like, yeah, you sound like you're dehydrated, and maybe you need some more sodium. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And ever since then, cramps they've been a thing of the past. So
Cool.
pretty happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
actually tried that because you recommended it, and I think that it's too much sodium for me on what I output. Meaning, I do CrossFit,
mhm,
even for a 45 minute of solid sweating CrossFit, I'm not putting out
mhm,
nearly as much fluid as you are on a run.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
I mean, I did take it, and I felt good, but cramping is not a problem for me, and
mhm.
I don't run. So unless I'm
Yeah.
sweating a ton, well, like when I'm at the farm, I mean, I have been at the farm where I've, had to work in June and work all day and sweat from dawn until dusk. That is a event that needs salt, you know,
Yep.
but my
Yep.
regular
Absolutely.
exercise doesn't warrant it. But I like to have
Mhm,
it when there's days.
mhm. One thing, I mean, I've found is that it is just so much easier to drink electrolytes than raw water for me on most days, especially like first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I wake up dehydrated, like if I had a really salty dinner and I didn't, drink enough water the day before, I can just pound water as soon as I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have had enough water and I didn't take, too much salt at dinner time or something like that, I take a few sips and I'm like, okay, whatever, it's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but these, the Element brand, obviously, it's so much easier. It's like my body's it's thirsty. It's like it wants more. Drink it up, drink up, drink up. So, I think that's a good thing. So.
Yeah. I've enjoyed those all right. I didn't really like the first one I drank, but then after that, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Which flavors did you get? Do you get like a sample pack, or is it all the same?
Yeah, it was an assorted pack. So I know watermelon was in there, mango was in there, like a lemon,
mango chili.
Yeah, like a lemon lime. I like that. Lime, generally speaking, a lime drink is my favorite. Like a flavored water, I like a lime, like a nice lime and cucumber. Man, that's good. Lime, mint, cucumber. Yeah.
Something like a mojito or something.
Yeah. I do like mojitos now that you say that.
There you go.
So, yeah.
All right. Cool. So we've covered sodium, I think. Got that covered.
Yeah. All right. We got other things. What do you want to hit? You want to talk?
Let's just go right down the list today.
Okay. So I have I finally started paying for AI. I've never paid for AI except with Gemini. I bought it with Google, and I kind of thought it was really meh. I mean, really, I was like, oh, because it's not even easy to get into it, to like have a window open. It was like a sidebar of my Google window. You can open it up in a full-blown window. And I've started messing with it a little bit more. But I bought ChatGPT. I bought the business version, and I bought the team so that Elizabeth and I could use it. She's doing some things with it, and she's like, oh, I'm running out of credit, and I'm like, well, let's buy it for a month or so, and because I started doing some things. I started doing some real deeper travel research, and I really wanted it to search the web. And after, like 30 or 40 minutes of searching the web, it's like, oh, come back at noon. I'm like, oh, this is not me. I can't do, I was like, I want to do actual searches. And it really went, it did do a good deep dive into websites, and I like that. The thing that I've been putting outputs into spreadsheets and having it build spreadsheets for me, that's been really nice. I've been kicking that around, and then the other thing that I really wanted is I wanted it to talk to me. And ChatGPT, with the mobile app, you talk to it and it talks back to you, and you can have more or less a conversation, and you can have a pretty intelligent conversation, kind of like you and me just talking. I'm like, hey, Peter, what do you know about YubiKeys? What do you
you can have an artificially intelligent conversation, you mean?
Yeah, an artificially nice. I like that. An artificially intelligent conversation. There are I did have some drawbacks. Hendersonville is pretty lousy for internet coverage on your phone. So you'd ask a question, or I would ask a question, and AI would start responding, and then partially through the answer, it would start over again. I was like, well, that's a bummer. I mean, so you got to be in a good internet place for that.
Yeah, I mean that's become more and more prevalent, I think, over the last couple of years. I started to really notice that with the the iPhone's ability to read a web page aloud. More often than not, when I'll try that, I don't know if you use that feature, but if you go into reader mode, there's an option to listen to page. And when you invoke it, it usually gives a little boom sound. And then assuming you have a good connection, it starts reading.
Yeah.
oftentimes I would start it and it goes boom, and that's it. No progress bar, no error message, no nothing. Typical Apple, Apple method. Like, no, we don't need to tell anybody anything. No, we're just silently fail, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's not fine. So yeah. So
I would really like it to be, in the original Iron Man, the first one on with Robert Downey Jr. When he talks to Jarvis and it just starts, and then he calls it, says, whatever. That's when I think AI will have arrived. When we actually do. I know you could argue that the S word does that, but not really. A word doesn't do that either.
They don't have any context. No, there's no continuity, no context, nothing like that. So yeah, it's stateless essentially. I'm curious to see, though. I did sign up for the beta, even though I don't think I have any compatible devices yet. I did sign up for the beta of the Amazon, Alexa Plus, which is going to be their $20 a month AI.
Okay.
But apparently, I'm on a wait list with who knows however many other people. But apparently it requires a hardware upgrade. And I don't know that any of my Echo devices are going to fit the bill. I really don't think I'm going to bother, upgrading it to get that, because this is the first time this month. You mentioned, you paid for GPT for the first time. This is the first month that I have paid for both Claude and ChatGPT at the same time. API credits aside, I have definitely had API credits from both, which I can use and burn down over time. But I've got both pro features right now, and I don't think the episode has dropped yet. Maybe it has, but if not the latest, a forthcoming episode of Friends with Brews, Scott and I talk about my journey into Claude Code and Gemini command line interface.
Okay.
So we started. Scott sort of helped me on board through that, and I've been playing with those, which is, it's interesting. It's got some ideas. So far, I haven't done anything really fancy with it that I couldn't have done with the web interfaces that I've been using. So, but Scott has been talking about like building, a Mac OS app and stuff. So he's got it cranking out Xcode and doing, things to make something separate. But I've asked it things like, how do I set up, Microsoft Power Automate flows so that when I make a task in Salesforce, it shows up in Outlook as well. And then when I complete it in Outlook, it goes back to Salesforce and marks the task as completed.
Oh.
And, so it's been walking me through that, but it's no different than other stuff. And, it's typical AI, like it may say something like, well, you need to update you need to call the update task or update a task v3, right? Function or something, but it's actually called update task v3.
Yeah.
Right. So there are people who have typed in, update a task, and it's taken that as canon, and that's what it's called. And it's like, your interface must be different than the one we're using. I'm like, yeah, or you were trained poorly. There's that too. So, but yeah, the idea that it can write files, it can execute commands on your local machine, so that's pretty cool. So I've been working on that and a couple of robot process automation tasks, just trying to have it like interact with certain websites and do certain things on my behalf. And I did also have it analyze. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, I was teaching myself the R programming language, which is big on like data analysis. And I taught myself just enough so that I could chart and graph my Apple Health data. Yeah, because that's all in like XML or JSON or whatnot, but it's not in like friendly CSV files. It's not an Excel friendly format. So I had it, I wrote stuff, in R to process that. And then when GPT came along, I was like, this is dumb. Why am I'm teaching myself this programming language that I, in my job, will probably never use again for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do this in Python? And I had GPT teach me how to do it in Python. And by teach it, it would write some, and then I would write some, and then it would write some, and then I would, so I was like, okay, I learned how to use, I think it was like the Panda library for image generation and analysis. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. This time around, I was like, here's my Apple Health data. Just show me a graph of my workout heart rate over time versus my resting heart rate over time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the picture that I shared with you.
Okay.
And it's kind of cool because one thing I was able to glean out of that is that over time my heart rate while exercising has been going down, noticeably. And my resting heart rate has been going down ever so slightly. But those are both good things because this was data over like the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So a downward trend on both of those would seem to indicate that I'm getting in better shape. So that's kind of cool. Well, I am running a little slower, but I'm also running more.
Yeah.
But the thing is, my threshold pace, heart rate is generally, or the target, like, to be in my threshold zone where I want to be like long, persistent, extended running is almost always right around 155 beats per minute. And my average heart rate when I ran my first marathon was 155 beats per minute. Cool. So that's been very consistent for 5 years now. And so I think, like, man, I wish I could get it lower, but also, well, I'm 5 years older. So by some calculations, I've shaved 5 beats per minute off of that.
There you go.
So I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. So,
yeah. Well, and before we leave AI, one of the things that so Gemini data security has been a concern of AI for a while. What AI?
It still is.
Well, yeah, it still is. But so it's not new that AI's data security has been a concern. Gemini has access to all of my Google data and all of my confidential business information is also in Google. So Gemini
with the same account.
Yeah.
You're using the same Google business account, right? Okay.
But I'm not using Gemini for that kind of work. Gemini exists in the workspace, but I'm not really using it. I'm using the ChatGPT. And I kind of wanted to keep those separate just for if I wanted to do some things to analyze data, I could do it with Gemini, which is in the workspace. But I didn't want to do that with ChatGPT, who, you can do a plugin to allow it to access Google Drive. But I'm concerned because I don't want, other security analysts are concerned with ChatGPT because it is an outside entity and your data is traveling over the web, and where's your data ending up, and nobody knows.
That's the more concerning part, because I'm pretty sure it's easy to validate that they're doing an encrypted connection in transit, but man, they are just using and abusing your data like crazy once they have it. That's the real concern.
Yeah, so I'm doing my non-confidential stuff. It's confidential in some things where you're like, well, you're talking about travel and you're putting dates and things like that. I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm not putting like my social security number and passport and all that information in there. And I'm not putting, so that's what I'm going to try to keep my analysis with Gemini for Google Drive data. If I'm going to do something in Drive and Drive data that's confidential, I want to keep it in there, even though I don't find it to be as good as the ChatGPT, but it seems to be better for my just day-to-day junk that I want to do. So,
yeah. Well, related stories on AI stuff, I just put a link into the show notes about the U.S. Treasury Department has sanctioned a North Korean IT worker scheme, which has apparently exposed $600,000 in crypto transfers and $1 million plus in profits. So classic North Korean, Bitcoin type scheme. What was interesting about this one is apparently, if I recall correctly, these folks used Claude, and apparently they are pretty much helpless without it. So not only did they use Claude to get land the interviews and get the job, but once they're in this job doing, allegedly doing some sort of work and stuff, they just can't even do anything. It's like AI is doing the whole job for them.
Oh, wow.
And talking with one of my work colleagues about this, and we keep on talking about how we're not seeing AI attacks yet, right? People are talking all about this AI attack, AI cybersecurity attack, but we're getting closer. It's like every day. So here's one where it's still a person doing the job, but AI is literally guiding them every step of the way. So just imagine you have a new employee and they can't do anything without using ChatGPT to understand how this works and how to start things.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's interesting, but I'm just waiting for the first real AI. It's like, okay, AI, I want you to hack your task, Gemini, Claude Code, whatever, hack the US government, get me a job, or get a job as an agent of this department, and then start stealing money and send it back. Go. Right.
Yeah.
That's the one we're waiting for, to see, and then we'll have okay, now AI has done it. Because so far it's just people using AI to make things better, right? Better or worse, as making the quality of their attacks more effective, I should say. So I'd be curious to see, where this goes, and when it's going to happen. But so far, we're not really seeing it. We're still just seeing AI as just a tool. It's writing better phishing scams, better email scams, but it hasn't done a fully Skynet automated attack on anyone yet.
Yeah, hasn't become conscious yet.
Right, give it time.
All right, that's cool. So you how's your YubiKey experience?
So far, I'm still learning how it works. So I have it enrolled with my 1Password account for my password safe. And today it didn't prompt me for anything, but I set it up 2 nights ago, and I have a handful of YubiKeys. So I set up 3 of them just to check the experience. Plus, I figure I have 3 devices that I usually use with them. So I got one that's NFC capable, so I can just tap it on the top of my phone when I need to. I got one that's the Nano, which is just barely enough plastic for you to extract it from the USB-C port.
Right.
And not always easier. So, sometimes I need a butter knife because I don't have a lot in the way of fingernails for that. And then I got one that was the CI version, which has a USB-C and a Lightning port, because I have my spare phone is an iPhone 14, so has a Lightning cable connector. And so far, it's it's pretty straightforward. It's I haven't exactly seen what the pattern is that causes it to say I need to use that second factor in addition to my either my password or my biometrics. So the first night I set it up, you go through this enrolling process, which wasn't that, once I got understood what was going on, it wasn't that hard. The next morning, it was like, hey, tap your security key. And I was like, oh, okay, boom, I did it. Today, it has not done anything like that. Didn't prompt me for the security key or anything like that. So I'm not really sure what, if it's like a time-based thing, or I had seen somewhere I read that it was going to reprompt me every 30 days or something like that. But one thing I see, for instance, right now, my 1Password on my Mac right now, it's telling me there's an update. So you can do that either now or later, but it'll update when you restart 1Password. So I'm wondering, if the 1Password app gets updated, is that going to prompt me to require a key.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've just clicked on that right now, but nope, I'm back in 1Password. So that didn't cause it. Okay, fine. But if I was prompted right now, that would be inconvenient because at my desk right here, I don't have any YubiKeys handy. It's 2 stories away downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I'd be like, oh, okay. So I've been trying to figure out where do I want to keep these, maybe keep one. I don't know. Right. I don't want to just store them lying around because this is about an authentication factor. Right. But I want to have them handy. So I keep one on my keychain with me at all times, and then the rest I'm not really sure where I'm gonna put them. So we'll see. I have not yet figured out my strategy yet.
Well, I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard for you, as well as it would be for me, because I'm a traveler. I keep 2 computers at every office. I've got this computer right here that we're on right now. I've got that computer over there. And I go back and forth pretty often. So I may go and you need to take. I'm gonna pause here.
Thanks. Sorry. I realized I typed that about 5 minutes ago, but I hadn't actually hit send. I was like,
Okay.
I'm starting to hit critical mass. I'll be right back. Sorry to cut you off mid-sentence. Man, I can tell I've drunk so much because my belly is jiggling. I'm back. Sorry about that.
And we're back. But yeah, being mobile would be a booger for me. That's why I have everything locked into my Keeper MFA. When it offers pass keys and UB, and I'm like, nope, I want to use my MFA.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does drive me nuts.
I have been embracing pass keys recently. I have definitely started, taking those over now that I trust it more.
Mm-hmm.
But I know when I first started rolling out, it was a little weird. But now that, again, 1Password stores the pass key in the vault and it's not tied just to this one device, that's, that's okay. For me, I'll use that with the standard caveat that if that other device gets hacked, that, there's always that risk, right? If one device gets hacked, they all could get hacked and blah, blah, blah. But anyway. So, what else? YubiKey.
Yeah.
Got that.
So,
check.
The Mulvad browser. Have you ever used it?
I have not yet used Mulvad anything. I first heard about Mulvad VPN because here on our public transportation, they took out big banners and ads. So on the side of buses and at the train station, I saw ads for it. And then apparently I heard Tailscale partners with them. So you can use Tailscale in conjunction with Mulvad so that you're doing your stuff anonymously as well as accessing your stuff back home, which is kind of cool because right now I cannot do that because I have a different VPN service that I've been using, and they're not compatible. They both operate with WireGuard, the WireGuard protocol, and so they're using the same port. So it's either anonymize my traffic or make it come from a different IP address, or use Tailscale to come back home. But I can't do both at the same time right now.
Okay.
So I have not used Mulvad, but it sounds like maybe you have.
Yeah. Well, and so I actually forgot that I installed the Mulvad browser. I was looking on my Mac and looking through applications, and I was like, I forgot I installed that. So I ran it, and what the browser does, which is pretty cool, and other browsers, and you can do plugins with Tor, but it's got built-in Tor, so you can just browse, and it's browsing the traffic over the Tor network. It does make it just a little bit slower because you're bouncing around the world.
Gonna make it slow.
Yeah, but if you want to securely browse and not have tracking on, then it does do that well, and it also reports how many tracking things that it blocked, which is pretty cool. I mean, there are other browsers to do that. This is not completely unique, but I do add the Mulvad VPN into Tailscale because certain websites, depending on where you are or geographically, you can't get to them because they're blocked. And I'm like, okay, well then send me through Canada, and I send it through Canada, and now all of a sudden I can get to the website. Plus, I also use it and I do use the host. So I use Tailscale, and I will, if I'm traveling, I will route all my traffic to my VM or my Hyper-V host at my home. So it'll route it through there. But from time to time, I have issue where Tailscale won't route the traffic. Don't know why. I mean, I don't pay nearly enough for it to complain about it, but it won't route the traffic. And my only choice is to use Mulvad VPN to VPN my traffic through somewhere using their network, because my network is not responding for whatever reason.
Right.
And it's $5 a month. So
Tailscale?
No,
I don't even know. Oh, Mulvad? Okay. Yeah, got it.
So it's $5 a month. I'm like $60 a year. Yeah, I'm in,
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you use it once, it's worth it. So
yeah. Because one thing I have found, and of course Mulvad doesn't fix this issue, is I do have trouble from time to time with Waze operating on my phone with Tailscale on. So I've got to turn that off when I'm traveling or driving.
I noticed that I usually the first thing I notice when I have a problem is managing my Sonos gear at home. If I have Tailscale off or often, it's like nope, can't connect. Do you want to set up a new system? Check your firewall rules. I'm like, no, I really don't want to. And then kill Tailscale, restart Sonos, and it works fine again.
Yeah.
So
I have that VPN has been. I mean, it's worth what I pay for it. I mean, I don't mind paying a little something for it, and they're putting together a network, and it's kind of like having an enterprise VPN for me personally.
Yeah, for your home.
Cool.
All right. Should we wrap up all the tech stuff before we move on to other stuff?
Yeah, we might as well wrap the tech stuff. So I discovered, I sent you a link to Windows 365 virtual machines.
Yes.
Were you aware of that offering?
Oh yeah.
As a fixed
I haven't. Yep.
Okay.
I haven't used it though, because I had used the Amazon offering instead, like their virtual desktops. But in the end, I'm actually using neither right now. I had looked at it. I know they have a fixed monthly price offering, and then there was a pay as you go offering. I just don't need Windows that much. So, I haven't had to, and I've got my trusty little copy of VMware Fusion here on my Mac if I need to. And I will actually need to, because I dug out this little Watt box of mine. and I can't get into it. I need to reset it. And the only way to do that is with a legacy Windows tool that will hopefully detect it on the network and allow me to, factory reset the thing. But that's the first time I've needed Windows in, I don't know how long it's been.
So for our listeners, so the Windows 365 virtual machine is a virtual machine that you pay a flat fee for the virtual machine per month. And you're like, well, so what? Well, it traditionally, these virtual machines cost you more based on utilization. So Microsoft has now given us a flat SKU that we can buy, and you know how much it's going to cost. That's also been the problem, because they consume and pay as you go. You're like, well, I never really know how much I'm going to pay for these virtual machines. And now you've got it. And you really could, if you didn't have the VMware Fusion on your laptop, you could buy the 2-core 8 gig, 64 gig of local storage virtual machine that you could just hop into if you ever needed it. Like, you're on the road, you want to hop into it, you've got to. And the cool thing about these things is they don't care where you go geographically. Where when you build out a traditional virtual machine, you kind of choose your affinity, whether you're east or west, or if you want to get down to southeast or south, you can get it closer to these data centers. Where with these virtual machines, it runs you to a data center wherever you are, and that's pretty slick.
It's pretty handy.
So I've recommended it to. We had a customer that they wanted to discuss virtual machines. They wanted VDI, but I was like, well, guys, VDI, virtual desktop so infrastructure, is expensive, and especially if you're using 100% cloud applications. If you don't have a line of business that you need to tie all these private computers together, you might not find value in it. You might spend a lot of money and not find value. And I said, do you have people who work in other countries like Philippines or places that are India that are outsourcing that you don't know the status of their computers? They're like, well, yeah, actually we do. I said, well, there's a good use case, because these people, their employees, they have access to your financial data on their personal home computer that's running BitTorrent. Why don't you put them on a virtual machine where they work on your stuff in a virtual machine, and keeps it safe? And he's like, oh yeah, that's a good case use. Yeah. So we sent him some pricing options on these, and I didn't even know they existed. I just happened to be, I was training one of my other team members on Azure pricing, and we got on the phone with Pax8, and Pax8 was going through the pricing models and way that we could do the price calculators. And he went to the catalog and showed us. I was like, wait a minute, what's that? he said, you got virtual machine? That's a fixed price? Yeah. It's on all the time? Yeah. I'm like, hold on. Yeah, let's talk about that. So
there you go.
Cool. So that was something. I mean, it's been around a while, and I know Amazon had theirs, but Microsoft took a little bit longer to get theirs. So.
I was gonna say, I mean, I was using that at Amazon years ago, and it's like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool, and we used it for, like, we didn't at the time, we didn't have a better way. We would use it to go to suspicious websites.
Yeah.
Right. On Examine, great. We blew up that machine because we couldn't get the tech services team to provision us with a blowaway machine that we could have on a isolated network anywhere. So I was like, great, we'll do it on Amazon's network instead.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny. So our podcast, we had it running. Well, we still have it running on GoDaddy, but it runs on GoDaddy, and we were storing our files on GoDaddy in just the folder structure of the FTP. And I got a nastygram from GoDaddy and said, you're breaking our, whatever, the service agreements, and you've got to get these data files off here. Like, each podcast is probably 75 meg each, and that's for a full hour of an MP3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is so small, and they're like, we don't care. This is breaking our service agreement. You got to get these files off here. I'm like, fine. So I took it to Amazon S3, and I'd never used it. I still say that it's kind of clunky, but I got them all in there. But we pay about between 38 and 40 cents a month for our podcast files to be in Amazon S3.
Yeah, that's a write-off.
Yeah, $1 per year, or $10 per year, I guess it is. Yeah, so that's cool.
Can we afford that? I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll take that out of our advertising budget. Oh, yeah. Wait.
All right, and then I think the last tech thing. So I bought a brand new NUC last year, or actually, well, it was December of last year. My old NUC was, 7 years old. The new NUC will not keep video running. Like, if I run, it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm running Teams, well, I can take that. I can watch a video. I can watch Netflix, but I can't do this Google Meet meeting for up to 15 minutes, and it locks up. Now, if I turn my video off, if it doesn't capture me, it's fine. But if I just, if we're doing what we're doing right now, a meeting, I get about 15 minutes and the whole computer hard locks. And it's a hard lock, meaning even if I press the power button, I can't hold down the power button to get it to go off. I have to physically unplug the power to get it to come back.
That is a hard lock.
Yeah, that's a hard lock. And so I contacted Carbon Systems about it, because it's a Carbon Systems labeled NUC, and they're like, well, you'll need to show us, and I'm like, I can't show you. I mean, do you want to get on a video call and hang out? Because once it locks up, it's a hard lock. You can't view the logs of what happened. I mean,
you just get yourself a little tripod, you set up your iPhone and start recording, and then just send them the video when it happens. Yeah.
I said, I can send you the log of right up to the event, because that's all you're going to get. I mean, because once it locks, it's logging up to the event, and then when I bring it back on, it's got the event, response of what happened. But it occurred to me when I was writing that, I was like, you know what I need to try? I need to try, and I did. I got all the firmware updates. I tried all the technical support stuff. I even wiped and reloaded the entire computer and built it from scratch, because I thought maybe I got a bad image, that the factory image was bad. So I did a complete factory reset, built it from scratch. Still locks up. I've got this camera that I'm on right now on my Mac. I'm going to swap the camera with that computer and see if it is the camera.
Okay. Right.
Maybe it just does
camera driver.
Yeah.
If it's always happening on a video call, it's not a bad hypothesis.
Yeah. So I'll give that a go. But that had occurred to me. So all right. So then, so you had drank the Athletic Brew, and you didn't think much of it.
Depends which one. I've had 4 of them now.
Okay.
Well, which one did you have?
I don't know which one I had. I think it was blue, like a pastel blue with a yellow top, because
sounds like the Upside Dawn Golden Ale.
Yeah, I think that was it.
So there's that one. That one I don't like. But they have one called Run Wild, their IPA, which oddly enough I prefer, even though I generally don't like IPAs.
Yeah.
But I also had their Oktoberfest fest beer, and I have also had their light beer. Yes, Athletic has a non-alcoholic light beer. And we've covered all, at least 3 of these on the Friends with Brews podcast. So I should refer you over to those episodes to get my my reviews of these beers. But tell me, what did you think?
Because of you had talked about how bad they were, I was expecting it to be really bad, and it actually was. I was like, well, this isn't bad at all. I don't mind it. I actually don't mind, because I have found that when you don't drink around people who are drinking, it makes them uncomfortable. And so I got this, like I was like, I didn't want to drink. I don't like drinking in a business setting. And I was at a business setting, because I was at a conference, where all of the 20 was, and leadership and everybody, so I just feel like it's a good rule of thumb. I mean, I'm not an over drinker when that happens. I've never had an event happen, or, like, oh, well, this one time no, I've never done any of that. I just feel like it's a good policy to not drink around business. And but people don't, like I said, people get uncomfortable around that. So I got this athletic brew. They can't tell what it is. They see it's a beer, and I can just sit and talk and have a good time and be coherent the whole, and not wake up with a hangover. And
you made me wish I had brought one to this podcast. So I did put my reviews. I've linked to those. We can put those in the show notes, but that will link you to the reviews that I posted over on Friends with Brews, because we have actually reviewed all 4 of those athletic brews on the podcast. So yes, some of them surprisingly. And the thing is that, like, I've found too, is after you stop drinking real beer for a while, you generally, your tastes alter. And something that tastes, even like at this point, I could probably drink like a Bud Light and it would probably taste like beer to me.
Yeah.
But I guess I have to retract that. Apparently I got it backwards. Apparently it was the Run Wild IPA that I gave a thumbs down, and the Upside Dawn Golden that I gave a thumbs up to.
Well, that's the one that I drank. I thought that I liked it.
Yeah. Yep. So I gave the thumbs down on their Fest brew, their Oktoberfest. I didn't really like that as much, probably because I got my hopes up, because Oktoberfest is generally my favorite type of beer. But I actually gave the thumbs up to the Athletic Light, the one with only 25 calories, 5 grams of carbs, and 0 taste. That's my joking, review of that. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Now we got just a couple more things. You got Night Call.
Night Call. So there's this movie that I saw. It was a French movie. I guess it came out last year or something. It's all in French with subtitles. I saw it at the Museum of Fine Arts a couple of weeks ago here in Boston, because they do like weekend movie screenings. And it's a really good drama action, or drama thriller, I think is what they call it. Not an action movie. There's some action in it, but I think it's a drama/thriller. It's about a locksmith. It takes place in Belgium. And essentially, without spoiling it, you can get this from the trailer. A locksmith shows up on a job and gets conned and gets sucked into some no good stuff. And it's all about how he has to struggle to get out of it. Really well done, though. So if you see Night Call, you can probably get it on Netflix or something at this point. I'm not sure though. But it's pretty good. Highly recommend it. Definitely thumbs up on that one.
Cool. I'll have to give that a go. Did my audio just get better?
Yes.
A lot better?
Yes.
I wish I'd known that from the start. We were just picking that up through my video camera. Blue Snowball. Oh well.
Well, you live and you
Scott,
learn.
Scott can be angry at us for why did you let that fly? Didn't know.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Use AI to clean it up.
All right. So
run it through an AI assistant and have it clean it up for you.
oh yeah, I'll do the Audacity has a filter and amplitude and hard limiter that I'll put on it.
Okay.
And that'll at least set the volume. It won't increase the quality. I'm not concerned about it when we get reviewed for an Emmy or whatever the podcast awards are and they want to review this podcast, maybe we'll fix it.
I was gonna say, so yeah, whenever you have any audio quality problems, just make it louder. That fixes everything.
That fixes everything. All right. So then how you coming with the James Bond novels?
Pretty good. Where am I up to right now? I'm past Thunderball. I think the next one was The Spy Who Loved Me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like that one as much. Like the first 2/3 is the story. It has no James Bond whatsoever. It's all about this woman that he turns out and it's like all of her past and her story about how she grows up and winds up at this hotel, and one day some gangsters, thugs, show up and is basically hold her hostage, and James Bond miraculously just shows up passing through looking for a room for the night and of course saves the day. So but the previous one that I read, I don't remember if it was after Thunderball or before, was actually just a collection of short stories.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like one chapter out of a James Bond novel each. And I was surprised to know like a lot of them have been turned into books, but they have nothing to do with the stories from my perspective other than the titles. Huh. So like A View to a Kill, they're like, oh, there was a short story once named that. Okay, we're going to make a movie out of it. Go. And so it's interesting just to see, there's a huge dichotomy of, between the novels and the books and stuff. But, they're a lot of the, detailed action, a lot, as always, details on the food that's prepared. Like whenever he goes to fancy restaurants, Ian Fleming just goes through painstaking detail to describe the food and the beverage and everything. So it's kind of funny. So.
Last of the Mohicans version of a foodie.
Yep.
Oh, cool. So how many novels are there? Do you know?
No, I do not. But we can find out easily enough. The list of James Bond novels. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like 15.
It says 12.
Oh no, maybe
12 and 2 collections of short stories.
Okay, that's it. 13. Yeah, right. It's 14. One of them looks the picture I'm looking at. It looked like 2 books, but it's the spine is bent weird. So yeah, 2 of them are collections of short stories. Which again, I think I've read one of those so far. For Your Eyes Only.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the next one that's going to be that, but yeah, I mean they're entertaining. And a while ago, Audible was running a sale, so I could get like 3 months for like $5 a month or something like that. Yeah. So I plunked it down. But again, all the books that I'm looking for, I can get them from my library for free. So I keep on waiting for something newer to show up on Audible that I don't have access, to in the library.
Yeah.
But I noticed that they have like the part of the James Bond collection, like all the novels are going to be released on Audible, like in chunks. There's like part 1 with the first 7 novels and the part 2 with the last 7.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming out sometime next year.
Okay.
And I was like, so in the meantime, they're all on Hoopla. I just found them all there. So I've just been getting them through my library for free. I'm like, all right, well.
Yeah,
So I
perfect.
keep looking like what's a new release that hit Audible that's not available on my library yet that I can't get. But right now I've got 3 Audible credits just waiting for me to use on something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. All right. Well, that fills our list for the day.
Wow, that was a full episode.
Or you just got
Well,
the
then,
for today.
yeah. Well, you should take us out so I can go grab myself a non-alcoholic beer.
There we go. So, listener, we do want your feedback. If you'd like to discuss a particular topic, then you can drop us a line at www.blurringthelinespodcast.com. You can find Peter at yogawithpeter.com, friendswithbrews.com, and we'll have links to Friends with Brews episodes in this episode. So, Mastodon at Nikolaidis at infosec.exchange and Bluesky at peternikoladis.com. You can find me at rrlavenderfarm.com. I suppose you can find me in other places if you really looked, but that's all we're publishing right now. And with that,
Somewhere in Tennessee.
We'll hit
on a good day.
Big red button.
Big red button.